Hello, everyone. My name is Anthony Antunez, and for my part of the South Africa presentation, I'm going to focus on person three's topics. I will cover how people in South Africa may view their environment and circumstances, long-term versus short-term orientation, masculinity versus femininity, in the cultural sense, the corruption index, and the worst times to travel there for business. The main goal of this section is to explain what an American manager or company should understand before doing business in South Africa. So, what I will cover is in South Africa, it's a very diverse country. So, I do not want to make it sound like every person thinks or acts the same way. So, I don't want to consider it stereotype. Instead, the goal is to look at general cultural patterns that can help managers prepare better. In international management, culture is not just about food, language, or clothing. It also affects how many people make decisions, how they view time, how do they define success, and how much they trust systems. So for my section, the most important idea is this. An American company should not assume that business in South Africa will work exactly like businesses in the United States. So the view of environment slash circumstances. One important cultural question is whether people believe they can control their circumstances or whatever outside forces shape what happens. In the United States, people often have a strong just do it mindset. This idea is that if you work hard enough and make a good plan, you can control the outcome. In South Africa, I would describe this as more mixed and flexible. Businesses, plans still matter, but outside factors can affect businesses a lot. For example, infrastructure issues, government rules, economic inequality, electricity problems, and social conditions can all impact how businesses get done. So, for an American manager, the lesson is to prepare carefully, but also stay flexible. Do not act like every detail can be controlled from the beginning. A company should have a clear plan, but also leave room to adjust if conditions change. This connects to the class idea of external adaptation, where culture helps people deal with problems in their environment. So long-term versus short-term orientation. South Africa scores low on Hofstede's long-term orientation. Its score is 18 out of 100, as you can see in these slides, which means South Africa is more short-term oriented rather than long-term oriented. But this does not mean South Africans do not care about future. It means the culture is more normative, which means tradition, current expectations, and quick practical results can matter more than very long range planning. In business, this means as an American company should not only explain a plan saying this will pay off 10 years from now. That might not be enough. A better approach would be to explain the long-term goal, but also show the short-term value. For example, a company should explain how the partnership can help now, how it can create jobs, how it can improve service, or how it can solve a current problem. So the business advice is to respect traditions and relationships, but also show practical benefits quickly. So masculinity versus femininity. For masculinity versus femininity, it's important to explain this correctly. In Hofstede's cultural dimensions, masculinity does not mean that men dominate women. It means the culture values things like achievement, competition, success, performance, and ambition. A more feminine culture would place more emphasis on quality of life, caring for others, cooperation, and balance. South Africa scores a 63 out of 100 on masculinity, so it leans more towards achievement and performance. In business, this means people may respect confidence, clear goals, strong leadership, and results. A manager should be prepared to show competence and explain what they can deliver. But there is also a warning. Confidence should not turn into arrogance. An American manager should not come in acting superior, acting like they already know everything. The better approach is to show results, but also still be respectful, professional, and willing to listen. Corruption Perceptions Index. For corruption, it is important to know the difference between the score and the rank. South Africa's Corruption Perceptions Index score is 41 out of 100. A higher score means cleaner or less corrupt, and a lower score means more perceived corruption. South Africa ranks 81 out of 182 countries. The rank tells where South Africa stands compared to other countries, while the score tells the actual corruption percentage levels. For an American company, this does not mean they should avoid South Africa. It means they should be careful and a little bit more professional. A company should use clear contracts, written approvals, formal payment systems, and strong compliance rules. Managers should avoid informal favors, unclear gifts, or anything that could look like bribery. The safest approach is to keep business transparent and documented with proof. So, worst times to travel for business. For business travel, one of the worst times to go to South Africa is from mid-December to around mid-January. This is because in the summer in South Africa, many people are on holiday. Businesses may slow down, decision makers may be out of office, and meetings can be hard to schedule. American managers should also pay attention to major public holidays. Some important holidays include Easter, Freedom Day, Workers' Day, Youth Day, Heritage Day, Day of Reconciliation, Christmas, and Day of the Goodwill. The business advice is simple. Do not schedule important meetings during major holidays periods unless they are confirmed far, far in advance. It is also smart to confirm meetings the day before because travel schedules, office closures, or holiday plans can affect availability. So, my final takeaways to summarize this section: South Africa is a country where an American manager needs to be prepared but flexible. First, people may understand that outside circumstances can affect business. So, managers should not expect every plan to go exactly as written or as they want. Second, South Africa is more short-term oriented. So, companies should explain both future goals and current benefits. Third, South Africa leans more masculine in the cultural sense, meaning achievement, performance, and confidence matters, but respect still matters too. Fourth, because of corruption concerns, companies should use clear contracts, formal approvals, and strong compliance. So finally, the worst time for business travel is usually mid-December to mid-January, along with major holiday periods. Overall, the best advice is to avoid stereotypes, listen carefully, and adapt. A good international manager does not assume one culture is better than other. They learn how to work with the culture in a respectful and effective way. Thank you.